Hey guys, this is Chris from the VR Grid, and welcome to our early impressions of Arken Age. This game is coming out January 16th for the PSVR 2 and PCVR. So yes, this is definitely a premium VR game, and man, am I so excited to be able to share this, guys, with you, because so far, I'm having an awesome time jumping into this. Now, Ryan will be doing that complete review, so keep an eye out for that. That should be coming out on the 16th, and that'll be a complete deep dive on the game. Now, what I'm going to be showing you is the first few, I guess, levels of the game, if you will. This is created by Vitruvius, and these guys did a game that you might remember over on the PSVR 1 or on the PC called Shadow Legend VR, but they also did a game called Merville's VR, or Merville's of VR Adventure. But the reason I mention that is that this feels very much like an amalgamation of those two games. I was saying to Ryan that it actually kind of reminded me of like Banjo, like the Banjo games over on the N64. And so that's where the Merville's comparison comes in. Okay, so jumping into the combat here, I do want to say that it's actually pretty awesome. The AI is not the greatest, but the enemies have a lot of different move sets that they can use on you, so it keeps things pretty fresh. I would say that the AI kind of reminds me in some ways of playing like a Souls game, a genre game that I really like. And the reason I mention that is you'll notice that a lot of enemies, when you walk into a kind of a biome, I guess, or a level, whatever you want to call it, is you'll notice that enemies don't really react to you until you kind of get within their vicinity and aggro them. Now, you can shoot at them from a distance and aggro them that way, but the big thing is that these levels are not massive. They do get quite a bit bigger as you go along, but enemies don't just like charge you from all over the map. You can kind of pick them off as you approach them, which works for this game, because otherwise the entire map would just be on you if the enemies all reacted to the sound of gunfire and just came charging at you. But like I said, lots and lots of collectibles. So I've got to tell you guys, just know going in if that's your type of game, because I mean, the combat's fun. It definitely is, but it is a game all about exploration of loot and gear and blueprints to create better gear. I mean, it is a carrot on a stick game. Personally, I'm all there for it because I feel like everything I'm collecting kind of matters. What I do hate is collectible games where it's just to check off a list of things that you've collected in an area. Everything matters here, and as you progress into later stages, things that you're collecting will become clear to you. Now, I do wish the game was a little more clear about that in the early tutorial, but that tutorial is focused much more on just the basic movement and weapon mechanics. So there is definitely a little bit of kind of just figure it out in the game, and again, so that'll depend on whether you like that or not. Now, this blue essence that you collect, this is one of the many things that you will collect. That in particular actually is saved up as canisters that will be loaded into your weapons. So you'll see that there's a single ammo type for all the different weapons. And speaking of weapons, you basically start out you have your sword on your left side, on your right side you have a handgun, and then on your back you have a heavy weapon. And all these weapons are upgraded significantly, and you'll see some of those upgrades throughout just my brief playthrough here. Additionally, like you saw there, you have a health canister that basically just lives inside your chest, and when you press a right button on your right controller, it brings it out and you can pick it up and jam it into your arm to heal. You also have a bit of an auto heal, and you can also eat health. So there's lots of ways that you can heal up in this game, but as you see here, I am taking those spores that I was eating, and then you can grind them down here at this station and create vials that will do a much bigger heal, so that's much better when you get into the heat of combat. But like I said, there's just, it's a collectathon, and you know what? It didn't really bother me that much. Maybe it'll get old as time goes on, but as you can see, it is a beautiful looking game, whether you're on PC or PSVR 2. speaking about those graphics more specifically, both versions, PSVR 2, PC, both gorgeous, but a few details that you might want to know that just separate the two. On the PSVR 2, there is the ability to play this native at 90, or you can reproject it to 120. Now, you might be saying, well, why would I even bother with the 120? Well, if you play it reprojected, if you don't care about how it feels in reprojection, you can run it at a higher resolution, and you also get a further draw distance than you would running at 90 native. Still looks great, so it kind of becomes, you know, it really is the essential quality versus performance. So you get slightly better graphics if you run it on the reprojected, but again, you're running a reprojection. Now for you PS5 Pro guys, you're going to get a bump right off the hop day one, which is awesome, and that will give you an increased draw distance whether you're running this at native or if you're reprojecting to 120. There'll also be resolution bumps on both those modes as well. Now, for you PC guys, of course, you know, Vitruvius, they're a premium VR company, and they make premium VR titles. And so this game looks great regardless of what you're playing on, but if you've got the PC to ramp this up, then you're in for a special treat. Now, I'm on a 3080. This is 3080 footage that you're seeing, but I'm also recording too, so keep that in mind. If you see any frame drops, it's because of the recording, not the game. This game is super optimized and looks amazing. If you've got the rig, you could crank up the LOD on this, crank up the resolution, and it's going to look gorgeous. I'm running everything here on Ultra. Now, graphics wouldn't be everything, and yes, it is a game based around a collectathon, but like I said, carrot on a stick games work if the carrot's tasty. And the carrot is tasty. As you can see, this is like one of the, I guess, upgrading rooms that you will come across. There's a shop where you can buy a lot of stuff. As you can see, I have no money here, not really. Money is earned by just, you know, playing and exploring, but eventually, and you're not going to see it here, but eventually you will end up in an area where you can sell all the stuff that you've been collecting. I don't want to call it junk, but you know what I mean. And you can also find these blueprints that you will find, and these are often found by, you know, discovering the more hidden areas in the game, and these will give you the precious gun upgrades, and this has got quite an upgrade system that you can start to build upon, and you can also buy these upgrades as well. And so, yeah, it's worth it. Like these guns upgrades, as you can see, this is the first upgrade, and it turned my handgun into basically an assault rifle, and I'm all in for all these upgrades, whether it be your sword or your rifle on your back, which is right now just a shotgun. There's a lot of things you can add to these guns, and I don't want to show it all off because I'm not supposed to, and I also want to leave it for you guys. But I want to go back a little bit to the combat, guys. As a game that's built around a few fundamentals, one being exploration and just collecting everything, the other one is combat, and it's a very enjoyable combat. I mean, I honestly think that Skydance should be kind of ashamed of themselves. In fact, I would like to say that a lot of big VR developers, I'm not going to call out any names specifically, but there's been a lot of big games that have come out in the fall leading up to Christmas, and in many ways, this game puts them all to shame. And this is like made by a couple guys. So I don't know what to say, but Vitruvius obviously knows how to make a VR game, and it shows. I just felt that this game just didn't have that jank that we got so used to in games. Even this fall, it seems like every game that came out, even Metro and Behemoth and Alien, they all had just issues with just jank, and you just felt like you were fighting the controls to one degree or another. And I just didn't in this game, and it just was a wonderful experience. I mean, it's not perfect, guys. I mean, of course it's not, but it is fantastically polished. Now, of course, the underwater stages, to me, brought about a lot of ideas of hubris. I will say that this is a very good example of what hubris should have been. But I will say, for those of you looking for kind of that kind of A to B linear kind of story progression sci-fi adventure that Hubris was trying to be, this is not that game. It definitely has an interesting story. It's definitely a sci-fi setting. But like I said, it's much more of arenas connected to other arenas. And actually, you know what? Arena is probably an unfair way to kind of describe it, because arenas bring to mind, like, I don't know, you know, kind of like Doom, where you just run in and shoot everybody. That's not what I'm getting at. It's like like I said, back to my platformer comparison, it really does feel like you're in stage 3-4 of the plant world. That's kind of like you walk into an area, you look around, you're like, all right, how am I going to get to all these things? And so you spend your time kind of exploring that whole kind of level, I guess, if you will, and clearing out the enemies that are in your way. These enemies get tougher, they get larger, they get faster, they get better equipped, and so do you. So there's definitely a progression to that. And like I said earlier, there is definitely a Metroidvania taste, I guess, if you will, in the fact that there's a lot of things that you're going to come across where you'll just look at it and go, I don't know what to do. I don't know how to get into that area, or I don't know how to work that device. And the whole point is that you're going to find those things later on. You're going to teleport back to some of these areas and be able to get to certain elevations or into certain corners of that world that you couldn't get into. So there's a bit of back and forth thing, but you're going to have new abilities, and that's going to open up a lot more fun anyway. Love the way the game does the climbing mechanic. That's just a flick of the wrist. You flick, you grab the grip buttons, and then you've got these kind of climbing hooks in your hands. And I love how smooth and slick that works. And they don't accidentally pop out nearly as much as you would think they would. Yeah, this is Arken Age, guys, and right now I am all in on this. So January 17th can't come fast enough, guys. I cannot wait for you guys to all jump into this. For those of us who've been preaching that we want premium VR games, I mean, yeah, we got Metro, we got Aliens, for some of us we got Batman, and of course we also got Behemoth. But I'm going to tell you guys, ooh, Arken Age is going to give those games a run for its money. So stay tuned for our full review. Hit that like button if you want, guys. Consider subscribing if you want to see more content from us. And as always, I will catch you on the next video.